Hello once again, and welcome back on our class on purposive communication. We are now on Chapter 3, Lesson 1, Local and Global Communication in Multicultural Setting. Last lecture, we have said that the communication process is the most crucial part in communication. It is because we have to deliver our message as clear and as precise as possible. It is crucial because each participant may differ in cultural, social, and biological backgrounds, which are all critical factors to effective and successful intercultural communication. And this may lead speakers to misinterpretation or misunderstanding. Okay, so living in a globalized world, you have to encounter people with diverse cultural background. That is why that is what you call multicultural, multicultural. And so, before we move on with our topic, let us take a look first at the learning outcomes of our lesson. So, at the end of the lesson, you should be able to cite examples on how to enhance one's ability to communicate with people from diverse cultures and create a 3 to 4 minute presentation about various cultural modes of communication of a certain country. Okay, so going back, so we have said that um, that is multicultural, no? Multicultural when we encounter people with diverse cultural background. Okay, so such interactions occur in a social, educational, political, and commercial setting. Hence, in today's era of increased global communication, it is imperative to understand intercultural communication for us to enhance our intercultural awareness and competence. Okay, so moving on, there are different challenges of intercultural communication. Again, when we speak of intercultural communication, we already have talked about that a while ago. No? So we will try to talk about that again later. Okay, so there are different challenges of intercultural communication. So what are those? We have mentioned a while back um, that there is the result of this in intercultural is either miscommunication or misunderstanding, or it can be both misunderstanding and miscommunication. Why? That is simply because, or probably because each, no, each of the speaker and the receiver lack shared knowledge and beliefs and cultural diversity, which makes it more complicated to arrive at the correct inference or interpretation of meanings. But um, we have to take into consideration that English is now a global lingua franca. And we are happy because English has been declared the official or working language of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So that's a good start because we will be able to understand already one another. Okay. Now, apart from it, no, there are also different forms of intercultural communication. So, what are these forms of intercultural communication? We have interracial, interethnic, international, and intracultural communication. So, let's try to talk about it one by one. Okay, so when we speak of interracial communication, this is a kind of communication wherein you communicate with people from different races. Okay, so take note of it, different races. That's why it's called interracial communication. No, a Filipino, no, talking to an American. That's interracial, okay? And so interracial communication. The next one is interethnic communication. Okay, interethnic communication. So when we speak of interethnic communication, it is interacting with people of different ethnic origin. Okay, so ethnic origin. Okay, yeah. So Chinese, and those are ethnic origin. No? Um, Filipino, and ethnic origin. Okay, the next one is international communication. Okay, international communication. When we speak of international communication, it is communicating between representatives from different nations. Okay, representatives from different nations. So we already have this, no, the United Nations. Okay, so these are um represented by different people, of course, representing their own nations. Okay? In the ASEAN region, we also have that. That's why we have the ASEAN. Okay? That's um, international naman. When you speak of international, it's worldwide. Ayan. And the ASEAN is just within the Southeast Asian nation. Okay? Okay, next. Intracultural communication. When we speak of intra, meaning within, no, within. Okay, so it's interacting with numbers of the same racial or ethnic group or co-culture. Okay, so it's there. The clue there is co-culture, meaning of the same, no? For example, Filipino, okay, so you talk with other Filipino, that's intracultural. Okay, intracultural. Okay, however, um, according to Gumbel and Gumbel of 2008, there are different communication styles among cultures. So what are those, no? We have the high context communication and the low context communication. So what is this all about? When we speak of high context communication, it is a tradition linked communication system which adheres strongly to being indirect. Okay, indirect. That means to say, when you try to explain or when you try to explain to other people or communicate with other people, you try to associate words or things for your receiver to get your point. Okay? Why? Because the two of you are of different language. And so for you to be able to understand um, for you to be able that you be understand by your listener or the receiver, okay, you make or you tend to associate words or things for your receiver or your listener to understand you. That's high context communication. The other one is low context communication. When we speak of low context communication, it is a system that works on straightforward communication. When you speak of straightforward communication, that means to say you no longer use, no, you no longer use or associate words with other things because you both understand what you are saying. Okay, both of you understand the point, okay, which you are saying. That's why it's called low context communication. It's straightforward. You don't need to go around the bush, or you don't need to associate words or things for your speaker to understand. Okay? So, how do we improve intercultural communication competence? Okay. One is to recognize the validity and differences of communication styles among people. Okay. So it's through recognition, accepting that the two of you have differences. Okay. Especially in communication styles. The next one is learn to eliminate personal biases and prejudices. Okay? So you have to accept that you do not know. Okay? You do not know something. For you to be able to learn, you have to remove the idea that you know it already and what the speaker is saying is uh, wrong, no? Like that. So you have to accept, okay? Accept that there are things which you still do not know. And the last one is strive to acquire communication skills necessary in a multicultural world. Okay, so we must learn. No? We must learn how to communicate and mingle with other people. Okay, not only within our community, but outside our community. Ayan. It is by uh, striving to acquire communication skills with other people that we also learn and, of course, prevent misunderstanding and miscommunication. With that, thank you very much and thank you for listening. Okay, so I hope you learn something today. God bless.